Hey, Pastor, thanks for seeing me. This is so great. I have been wanting to talk to you for quite a while, and to be right here with you right now is awesome. Okay, your series of the Ten Commandments, awesome, okay? I just really need to confess to you, my pastor, that the Ten Commandments, I've done all of them, okay? I've committed all of them, okay? Except murder.
Does it look like I have an appointment? Hey, Pastor, we need to talk. It's about that new music minister you hired, you know, the one with the choruses. He went and got that Justin Bieber looking Lady Goo acting girl from the apartments over there and invited her to come in and help lead worship with our youth. Is that what this church has come to? You know who I am? You know who I am? I am the chairman of the deacons of this church. I was here long before you got here. And I'll be here long after you're gone. Capiche?
Hey! Hey, I didn't mean to scare you. I was just down here. You don't have a pacemaker or anything, do you? I don't even want to talk to me, but being a youth minister, I'm really busy, okay? I'm doing a lot of stuff. This weekend, we're doing a junior high lock-in. That is a great concept, isn't it? I mean, whoever thought of that? I mean, you know what I'm saying? To lock in a whole bunch of prepubescent kids, junior hires, into a gymnasium for a whole 24 hours. That is awesome! And I'm in charge. Yay me! I need you to have my back, okay? I need you to have my back because, I mean, the seniors, they are on me. Not my senior high class, but the senior citizens, they do not like me. So just have my back, okay? I'm really trying. I got a lot on my plate. Do you see that?
I'm not interrupting anything, and I'm good. Listen, I've been looking at the numbers, and we are hurting, all right? We are bleeding with a capital B, okay? Anywho, I've got an idea. If we're going to survive and stay in the black, what about this? I wrote it down. What if we rent out the left side of our auditorium to that new hipster church, huh? We don't need it. They do need it. We're not using it. You're not going to fill it up with your messages. And here's the simple truth. That could help us out. What do you say? Hip, hip, hipster away? Okay, I'll leave.
Well, Pastor, I've got some good news and some bad news. Being the children's minister, first the good news, because who doesn't like good news? The good news is with VBS, we had so many kids involved and 17 kids came to know the Lord. Yay! The bad news is we've lost one of them. The VBS, we had a carnival theme and all. Well, Timmy's in that carnival somewhere. He's in that maze. He keeps saying, I'm okay, I'm in here, don't worry about me. So we just wanted to let you in on the good news and the bad news. And I'm sure this happens a lot in churches, doesn't it? No? Okay, well, I better go look for Timmy.
I know you and I don't normally talk a lot, and that's fine. But as building superintendent of this here church, I got a problem. And it has to do with that junior high lock-in. It seems that them little hellions, pardon my French, figured out a way to squish itty bitty Skittles into the carpet. And I went to clean it up, fell down, and I got a rainbow of fruit flavors all across my backside. Now listen, I am the eyes and ears of this institution, and I do not like what I'm seeing or hearing.
Hey, Pastor, we need to talk. Singles ministry, it ain't working. No one's coming. You know it, and I know it. Well, except for Shelley, she's coming, but I think she wants to marry me, and that's just kind of disgusting. So, here's my letter of resignation. I'm going back to work at Starbucks because they give benefits. It's been good and fine. No hard feelings. Don't mind if I do. Thank you, sir.
Hey, Pastor. I appreciate you seeing me. I know. People around here call me all sorts of things. Snake handler, Reptile man. Crazy. There's only one thing I think this church is missing. Snakes. I got an idea. How about we let Carl here loose on some of our congregants? See who's without sin and who's not, huh? Let me show you what I'm talking about. Carl's out. Carl's out.
Pastor, you need to get right with the Lord or get out of here, because that snake's poisonous. I'm not kidding. Carl!
Yes?
Pastor, Brother Steve from the Gideons is here to see you.
Can you tell him I'm not here?
I already sent him into your office.
Pastor? Hello? Pastor?
All right. Well, we want to welcome everyone today. I hope it was a little long, but I hope you enjoyed that video, because how many characters could you recognize from your congregation in those different ones? So we want to go ahead and Paul, if you want to welcome our Zoom audience, and I will do our Facebook audience, and we'll proceed with our service then.
Well, good evening, all. It's good to have our pastor appreciation evening. Many of us have probably been there and done that. But this evening, I see Lori, our host, is with us, and Marge Miller. I don't want to call her Maggie. It's Marge. Marge Miller's with us this evening, and Ted. Craig and Karen Updike are here, along with Joan Prim. Glad to see her smiling face this evening. Dina Fay is with us tonight as well, and glad to see Joyce Brooks with us. Hope everything is well with you. I see Maxine is with us as well. Matt from Little Rock is with us, and Mary Campbell. So that makes up the Zoom crew tonight, and I think you probably have a handle on Facebook, maybe.
Yes, joining us by Facebook is Myra Sutherland. Myra was the first one on. Myra, thank you so much. They also do a service on Saturday evenings. You might want to check out at 6 o'clock. Jeff and Michelle join us from the Fayetteville area, so we really appreciate them joining us. And then we've got Lois Brooks and Barbara Dale, who joins us in Facebook. And I believe that's who I have. I also checked the YouTube channel because it has a chat box feature, and we can gather some of those who are not known when we look at Facebook and that sort of thing. So with that, again, always welcome. Please share as we encourage people to share. We've got some great things upcoming and some all new video stuff for the Advent season. So you want to, check that out and let people know we've got some good things going there. And with that, we'll go ahead and proceed with our service. Lori, go ahead and proceed.
Give thanks with a grateful heart. Give thanks to the Holy One. Give thanks because He's given Jesus Christ, His Son. Give thanks with a grateful heart. Give thanks to the Holy One. Give thanks because He's given Jesus Christ, His Son. And now let the weak say, I am strong. Let the poor say, I am rich, because of what the Lord has done for us. And now let the weak say, I am strong. Let the poor say, I am rich, because of what the Lord has done for us. Give thanks with a grateful heart. Give thanks to the Holy One. Give thanks because He's given Jesus Christ, His Son. Give thanks, give thanks, give thanks.
And he told them many things in parables, saying, Listen, a sower went out to sow, and as he sowed, some seeds fell on a path, and the birds came and ate them up. Other seeds fell on rocky ground, where they did not have much soil, and they sprang up quickly, since they had no depth of soil. But when the sun rose, they were scorched, and since they had no root, they withered away. Other seeds fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked them. Other seeds fell on good soil, and brought forth grain, some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. If you have ears, hear.
What do you make of this? A farmer planted seed, and as he scattered the seed, some of it fell on the road and was eaten by the birds. Some fell into the gravel and sprouted quickly, but didn't put down roots, so when the sun came up, it withered just as quickly. Some fell into the weeds, and as it came up, it was strangled by the weeds. But still some fell onto good earth, and produced a harvest beyond his wildest dreams. Are you listening? Really listening? My wife and I, we planted some tomato seeds, and we were really excited about this. So we put them in a pot right outside of our house, and we gave it everything we had. We watered it, we nurtured it, we took care of it. But we quickly realized that nothing was happening. So we continued to love on it, and finally a little bit of green began to emerge from the pot. And we got really excited, but only to realize that it was just grass. And so, out of frustration and anger, we simply just cast it aside, and we threw it into a barren strip of side yard. And we were really frustrated about it, but we just let it alone. But what is it that makes good soil? What is it that the soil is open to awakening the life within the seed? I mean, What is so special about this that brings new life? As I tell this story, we often think of ourselves as the farmer or as the seed. But what if, in this context, what if we're the soil? What if we're the ones that are open and receptive to new life beginning in our midst? What if we're the ones who are meant to notice new life awakening around us? What if mission is actually more about cultivating, receiving, transforming, intending than it is tossing a seed, not sure where it will land? For me, gardening has become an incredible spiritual practice. I've learned that to be a good gardener, you really have to know and take care of your soil. You also can't hurry up the process. To get to a harvest, there are no shortcuts. You can't bypass it. You've got to go through the cycles and the rhythms of life to get to that point. It also has taught me a lot about congregational life. One thing I've learned is that in congregational life, you have to till the soil, you have to cultivate the soil, you have to turn it over. You got to grab the clods and break them apart. You have to remove root systems from old weeds that threaten to choke out life. You have to be willing to disrupt the soil so that new life might emerge. This is the same in congregational life. We have to be willing to disrupt the soil. Encounter with God and the Holy Spirit can cause disruption. It can be uncomfortable, it can be chaotic, but it can also be transforming. It can lead to new life in new ways when we aerate the soil and allow oxygen to breathe in new life in that soil and to those seeds. The second phase of this is planting, and I've learned a lot about planting. It's not just casting a seed into the ground, but it's actually about learning about the different context of these seeds, learning about what seeds need what light and what seeds need the proper amount of nitrogen and oxygen. What is the seed's context and where can we put it so that it might thrive most fully? This is the act of investing in relationships and abandoning a one-size-fits-all approach. What we're talking about is getting to know the context of our communities and the composition of our neighborhoods. Are we paying attention to both soil and seed? But then it's time to wait. Are we willing to relinquish control and trust that in our waiting, life is happening, life is becoming? There's only so much we can do before we must trust the mystery at work, knowing that in the darkness of the soil, life is forming in ways that we cannot know or see. In our congregation, are we waiting expectantly? Are we willing to relinquish control of our own agendas? Are we searching for new ways of doing things? And are we willing to wait and to trust in what is unseen? And then we get to tending. It's the hard daily practices of getting down on our knees, pulling weeds, watering the plants, and making sure that life is becoming. It's about being with life as it's cultivated and becoming new, but it's a practice that never ends. It's day in and day out. We consistently make sure that life is thriving among us and around us. What practices are we engaging in that help us sense the presence of the Holy sustaining what is growing within and around us? In our congregation, what is necessary for tending the growth we now see? And are we paying attention to what is still needed? And are we willing to put in the effort to sustain what is coming alive among us? And then we get to the harvest, a time for us to revel in the joy of new life, the life that has been cultivated, the life that we have tended, that we've nurtured and sustained. It's life that's exciting. It calls us to celebrate, to rejoice in what is going on. Is our congregation pausing to recognize when life has thrived? Are we feasting on God's presence abundant with us? Are we aware of it? Are we present with it? Do we recognize and see that new life within and around us? And then we come to something that I try to skip all the time. I try to bypass it as often as I can. But rest is important for the soil. Rest is when we renew the soil, when we let the nutrients come back so that life might be sustained again. In fact, it's a biblical imperative. It's a sign of wise earth stewardship. We need the same thing in our spiritual lives. We need Sabbath and time with God. Are we allowing ourselves to rest into God's presence, to hear the voice that God speaks in the silence, to allow our own discernment to renew and refresh us for whatever is next? So this is where we finally find ourselves. The soil is renewed, then cultivated, and the cycle begins again. But this cycle I've discovered is really about the growth in missional practice. We walk the neighborhood, we dwell in the Word, we share in the round, we take the risk to encounter this new God, this new form that turns over the compacted and settled soil of congregational life. And so my wife and I came home one Sunday from church to notice this bare strip of side yard where we had cast aside these tomato plants. And we began to notice that new life was thriving, that something new was happening. See, we didn't realize that the type of tomato plant we planted, it needed a longer time of gestation. It needed more patience. So we cast it aside and we didn't really pay attention to its needs. We didn't see the possibility that was happening. We didn't see the new life that was coming into being. And there it was. So what do you make of this? A farmer planted some seed. He scattered the seed, and some of it fell into the road and the birds ate it. Some of it fell into gravel, and it sprouted quickly, but it didn't put down roots, so when the sun came up, it withered just as quickly. Some fell into the weeds, and as it came up, it was strangled by the weeds, and some fell on good earth. And a harvest bigger than his wildest dreams came. Are you listening to this? Really listening?
This day is set aside where we are encouraged to consider our pastors, to hold them up and think specifically about their qualities and needs. Our pastoral leaders can easily fall through the cracks. Somehow we assume they are doing fine and are getting all their needs met. We can all appreciate our pastors and leadership team and should encourage them as much as they encourage each of us. We can easily and far too often take our pastors for granted. Sometimes I think they feel under a microscope, misunderstood, and unappreciated. At the end of the day, our pastors are still part of the body of Christ and should be accepted in the same manner we accept all our brothers and sisters. Our pastoral shepherd is entrusted to watch over the entire fold. This can be a very overwhelming task. The pastoral team serves within the walls of our local congregational ministry, as well as beyond the walls of the church. In general, the Spirit has instilled the desire to love as they serve and meet the needs of others, whether it be time, money, meals, encouragement. Our leaders love to lean in to the task at hand. It is important to appreciate everything your pastor does for the congregation. but often people don't realize the reciprocal. Let us not forget that they are human and have a life. They have a family, and for many an occupation, and a variety of other responsibilities throughout the week. So let us consider how we can personally encourage them and their family. With gratitude, we support our pastors and bless them as they discern the journey ahead.
There's a story of unfailing love that echoes in my heart. There's a promise that you're always here. Your word will light my path. We shall not fear the days to come. You are with us to the end. And everything is possible through God who gives us strength. You make everything brand new, 'cause you're the God of miracles. And everything is possible through God who gives us strength. Whether I am rich or I am poor, I will give you thanks. I will lift my voice to sing your praise in every circumstance. And whether found in sickness or in health, I have learned to be content. 'Cause everything is possible through God who gives us strength. You make everything brand new, 'cause you're the God of miracles. And everything is possible through God who gives us strength. Oh, whosoever shall believe Jesus made a way. His blood poured out on Calvary has broken every chain. You make everything brand new, 'cause you're the God of miracles. And everything is possible through God who gives us strength. You make everything brand new, 'cause you're the God of miracles. And everything is possible through God who gives us strength. Oh, everything is possible through God who gives us strength. Oh, everything is possible through God who gives us strength.